talking about the Kalam Cosmological Argument. Whatever begins to exist has a cause. The universe began to exist. Therefore, the universe has a cause. Specifically, we're taking a look at that conclusion: the universe has a cause. Over the past few weeks, we've seen that the evidence actually points to a cause that is immaterial, omnipresent, timeless, omnipotent, and even personal. Now, this week I want to show you one more way you can know that the cause of the universe is personal. Remember when we said that because the cause of the universe created all matter, it itself cannot be confined to a material state? I mean, after all, if it was material, then it cannot have created all material things, because it itself would be a material thing in need of a cause, and it can't cause itself. So the cause of the universe must be immaterial. What types of things can you think of that exist in reality and yet are immaterial? Now, one example is abstract objects, like numbers. The problem is that abstract objects can't cause anything. The mere concept of the number 2, for example, can't cause anything to happen. So we need another candidate. The only other option is a mind. Now, this is an important distinction that gets a lot of people mixed up. I'm not talking about a brain, which is obviously material, but rather a mind. Your brain is that physical glob inside your head that sends electrical impulses throughout your body. Your mind, however, is that immaterial thing that makes up you. It is what rationally evaluates various options and makes choices about what actions you should take. Some people try to claim that this is all done by the brain. They were all just fancy biological machines. But when the chips are down, nobody really believes that, regardless of what they say. Think about it for a moment. A machine is not free. If you input certain data, a specific output will come out. Input different data, and you'll get a different output. But if you input the exact same data, you're not going to get two different results. That's because a machine cannot make a free choice. Whatever decision it makes is by necessity determined by the input it receives. Now, for really complicated machines, there may be so many input variables that we can't predict what conclusion it will come to. But that doesn't change the fact that it is still ultimately determined. Does that sound like humanity to you? I mean, we certainly don't act as if we believe all of our choices are deterministic in this way. I mean, when a murderer stands trial for their crime, the judge assumes that they could have made a different choice. If someone were to walk up to us on the street and just punch us in the face, we're not just going to brush it off and say, oh well, I guess whatever input their brain's been receiving lately made them do that. No. We assume that regardless of what input their brain has received, they are capable of choosing to either punch us or not to punch us, and they made the wrong choice. In other words, we assume that they are more than just an advanced biological machine. We assume that they have both a mechanical brain and an immaterial mind. If we all have this immaterial mind, then it follows that it's capable of causing things to happen. If your mind, for example, decides that you should take 2 steps forward, then it tells your brain, which sends the necessary electrical impulses to your leg muscles, propelling you forward. So given our 2 candidates, abstract objects or an immaterial mind, only one is capable of being a causal agent. Because we're looking for an immaterial causal agent for the universe, the only answer that makes sense is a personal mind. Now, this is admittedly an inductive, not a deductive conclusion, meaning it's an inference to the best explanation. But barring any better candidates out there, it's a reasonable conclusion. This is going to wrap up our discussion of the Kalam Cosmological Argument. Now, during our journey, we've discovered that whatever begins to exist has a cause, the universe began to exist, and therefore the universe has a cause. More specifically, we've seen that the nature of that cause is something that is immaterial, omnipresent, timeless, omnipotent, and most importantly, personal. Look, nobody claims that this shows you everything there is to know about the Christian God, but it does bear a striking similarity. Now, next week, we're going to start looking at a different form of cosmological argument, that proposed by Gottfried Leibniz. See you next week. God bless. Hey, if you haven't joined our Patreon yet, would you mind giving it your prayerful consideration? Patreon is a way you can support the Trinity Joppa YouTube channel. We've got multiple tiers to choose from, starting as low as $2 per month. Visit www.patreon.com/TrinityJoppa for all the details. Thank you. God bless.